evening and welcome to City Limits, the show that provides you with information about the people, places, and events that shape the character of our community. Joining me tonight is Bonnie Borchakowski.
You got it, that's correct.
And Bonnie is the Chief Executive Officer of the Girl Scouts of Eastern Missouri.
Yes.
Nice big title.
Yes, it is. Goes with the last name.
Probably a big job too, I would imagine.
It is, but it's an exciting job, yes.
There you go. Well, we'll talk about the Girl Scouts and we'll talk about you in a little bit too. Let's start out with a little history of the Girl Scouts in general and then maybe in St. Louis.
Absolutely. The Girl Scouts have been around for 101 years now, and actually in St. Louis it'll be 96 years this year. So in 2018 we'll celebrate our 100th anniversary. So been around for a long time and keep evolving each and every year with what we need to do for our girls.
Do they, it's the troops, I assume Girl Scout, I was in a Boy Scout, so some of the references I give you may be Boy Scout references, convert them to Girl Scout references.
Absolutely.
Do they have an increasing number of troops nowadays, or?
Our girls come to Girl Scouts a couple of different ways. About 70% of our girls are actually in what we would consider the traditional troop, and that's where they have a volunteer adult leader who leads their troop, and it's year-round experience with Girl Scouting. And those start as young as 5 years old. Our daisies will join Girl Scout troops, all the way up to our ambassador Girl Scouts who are seniors in high school. But then about 30% of our girls, we actually bring programs out into the community. So we have areas where, for whatever reason, a girl can't participate in a traditional troop, we take Girl Scouting experiences to them.
Okay, and then they kind of work on their own doing, I guess, do you
we
have
take-
merit badges, or, you know, Boy Scouts have merit badges.
We have badges that the girls work towards, yes. And when we go out and do our outreach programs, which are when we're taking programs to them, we're doing STEM program, anti-violence bullying programs, things of that nature that we take into the schools and the community centers.
Okay, yeah, and we'll talk about STEM a little bit later.
Yes.
I read an article about that you guys had sent over to me, and it's very interesting and kind of exciting, especially in the 21st century.
Right. We have, like I said, many outreach programs, but we take programs into the schools. One of our largest one is our Project Anti-Violence program, and that's our PAVE program, where we take in and we do teach anti-bullying, you know, recognizing violence in lives and how to keep it from happening. We do a TOUGH program, which is Transforming Your Future, and that's a program which is new this year. And this is where we'll train our high school students to actually deliver the anti-violence programs to the elementary school students. And then we're in the middle schools also throughout the year with a program called BFF, Be a Friend First. So these programs will be within the school district in all grade levels year-round.
Oh, sounds real interesting. Sounds very challenging. What, we were talking before about the history of Girl Scouts in St. Louis. Now, you're the leader of the Girl Scouts of Eastern Missouri. Right. Now, how many, I guess they call them districts or whatever, how many districts do they have in Missouri?
There's 112 councils across the United States. There are 3 different Girl Scout councils within the state of Missouri. So we're the Girl Scouts of Eastern Missouri, so we are from Putnam County down to Reynolds County. So we cover the city of St. Louis and 28 counties.
Okay, and then I guess they have Girl Scouts of Western Missouri and
right. Yep.
Southern
and then the
Missouri
other areas, exactly, and covering Kansas and Missouri together. Exactly.
Oh, okay. Sounds like a good breakdown. What? Let's talk about your outreach program. Let's get into that a little bit more. How does that work?
Yeah, when we go in, a lot of our community centers and schools will go in. Some of the girls that are at those places are in a traditional troop. Many, for whatever reason, if they can't be, they actually get to participate in our Girl Scout program within their school or their community center. So some of our STEM programs, for instance, are science, technology, and engineering, mathematics. Those are programs that we go in, some during the day, some are after-school programs that both girls and boys can participate in.
Okay, and what would be some of the things they would do in those?
Like we have robotics. We have a robotics program that we do with the FIRST program. So we have our own teams that participate in FIRST program. And some of those are grant-funded programs. So we're able to get teams of girls that get involved with building the robotics, which to me is so interesting when I think that didn't even exist back when I was in school. And to watch these girls really get interested in this, really for them, which is kind of a new field. So they usually around middle school is when girls kind of start to fall off in STEM activities. So we really want to make it so that girls have an interest and can stay within those activities.
Okay, and that's STEM means science, technology, engineering, and math.
Right. Yes.
I don't know about that last one. That was not my most favorite subject in school. It's math, but it's trying to develop engineers and scientists basically, and at least get people interested in
And
it?
get them interested, because we find is girls have the ability, but a lot of times when they get to that middle school age, they don't feel like they have the ability. So that self-confidence is so important so that they continue to participate in the programs. So that's what we really want to do with these STEM programs, is to not only keep them interested, but to help them see that they can use those abilities they already have and grow them so that if they're interested in a STEM career, they have that foundation.
How used is the STEM program? I mean, a lot of girls participate.
A lot of girls participate, and we
is
see a
it
growing
gaining
interest.
or
Yeah,
what?
it's gaining momentum, and we're seeing it that not only within our troops and our outreach, but even in our summer camp programs, there's an interest to apply some of those STEM activities at summer camp. So there is a growing interest with young girls in the STEM, in all different STEM activities.
What do you have sponsors? Like, we have a lot of scientific
Right. We
corporations here in St. Louis. Do they participate and help?
Yeah, we get some great sponsorships. Organizations like Monsanto that really want to step up and see these girls have these opportunities. There's a lot of businesses who say that they really want to see girls have equal opportunities to our boys. And by supporting programs like our robotics and our STEM program, they're actually putting their money where they say they're interested, and it's exciting for us. Because without their support, we could never offer all these great programs.
Yeah, sounds really interesting. What, one of the things that when you're in the troop experience, there's a bonding, a camping, and so on. Let's talk about the troop experience you have.
Yeah, it's one of the things I say, because we're right in the throes right now of our recruitment nights, and parents, their kids have so many different opportunities today, way more opportunities than I had when I was that age. So I look at that, and what I really want to impress upon parents is that what they're learning in Girl Scouting is that team building, that getting along with other girls, really being able to work together. So many of the things that they do, even if it's sports, they're going in there as an individual working on a team, but it's just out on that field. I will say with Girl Scouting, it's year long that they're working together with their groups in all the skills that they're learning. So if they're learning decision making or money management, they're doing it as a team.
Okay, let's exemplify a little bit more on that now. When they join a troop, how many girls are usually in a troop, and do they break them down? Like the Boy Scouts, they had a troop, and then they had broken down into what they call patrols, and you had so many, like pretty much in the neighborhood, you might have 8 kids from this neighborhood in one patrol and 8 kids from this neighborhood. Is that pretty much the
with the
setup
Girl
you have?
Scouts, it varies tremendously as far as the size. The average troop is about 10 to 12, but it does vary because we can have troops that have 6, 7 girls in it. We have troops that have 15 to 20, so it does vary. But the average size is about 10 to 12 in a troop. And what we see is as they get older, sometimes they either move around a troop or they may actually combine 2 troops. So there might be 2 troops within a school that are strong and they want to combine their 2 age levels together. So we see that as our girls get older.
Okay, and I assume they have summer activities and they have camp. I remember when I was in the Boy Scouts, I always wanted to go to Cedar Ledge, I think. I never got invited.
Yeah, we have 3 camps. We have Cedar Ledge, which is in Peevely, and we have Fiddle Creek, which is in Gray Summit, and then in Troy we have Tuckahoe. So we have 3 camps, and they're used year-round for troop camping, and then they're used in the summer. Cedar Ledge and Tuckahoe are both resident camp programs.
So in other words, you go away for camp for a week or
Yeah, you can go for a couple days, and you go up to 4 weeks for some of our equestrian programs.
Oh my God, it sounds like fun.
I know, I go out there and I want to stay.
Yeah, nice out in the woods, especially. I've actually been to Cedar Ledge.
The camps are
But
beautiful.
it's a nice environment, nice place down there.
It is. And we find with a lot of the camp programs, we're combining now that great outdoor experience, the archery, the canoeing, but also things that girls are looking for. Like this year, we had a veterinarian program, Junior Vet, so they could learn what it meant to be a veterinarian. We have a Lindenwood Lions dance camp. So we're putting some different programming pieces where they can combine all the historical things we've done at camp, along with some of the things that the girls are really interested in today.
Okay, so they get a little feel of what it would be to be a vet or whatever.
Exactly.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
At least you can learn early on,
Right.
hopefully, what you want to be. I know when I went to school, I didn't end up being what I started out to be. And actually, the second thing I started out to be and did for a while, I didn't like, and I went to the third thing. So maybe they can eliminate that and
That's one of
won't
the things
have all this job hopping and stuff.
That's one of the things we're really trying to work on is we find exactly that. A lot of kids, think of how many you meet that are at college. They're like, I don't know what I want to do. We want to provide earlier and earlier opportunities for our girls to see what would it mean to be an engineer? What would it mean to be a nurse? What would it mean to be in government? That they can really get those experiences when they're young to kind of start directing them into where they're interested.
Yeah, That's a real good thing, and that's hopefully a lot of girls take advantage. How many girls do you have in the St. Louis area?
Well, we
belong to Girl
service
Scouts?
51,000 girls. So we have about 2/3 of those are in troops, and about 1/3 is through our outreach, but about 51,000 girls. And then we have 18,000 volunteers, adult volunteers, that help us carry out all of our programs. Without them, we sure couldn't do what we do.
Yeah, it's a lot of kids to keep track of. What you said you're in a recruitment program. What is that's going on, and how if somebody wants to?
Typically, at the
Okay,
start
how
of
to
the
do it.
school year, like right now, we're out there doing what we call our recruitment nights. And so a lot of the different school districts will offer specific evenings that we can come in and have an open house, a recruitment night, to find out all about Girl Scouting. And so we'll have staff and volunteers that are there and can answer all the questions. They give the girls a taste of what Girl Scouting's all about, explain to the parents what they can expect. And then that's how many of our troops are formed, are at these recruitment nights.
Oh, okay. In other words, if you, depending on how many people sign up, then you start a new troop or whatever.
Exactly, or they can join an existing troop. So we have the staff that are there, and the people that are interested in going to a recruitment night, they can go to our website, which is girlscoutsem.org, and they can go on and see where all these recruitment nights are, and they can pick one that's closest to them.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Now, we were talking a little bit earlier about badges. What type of badges do Girl Scouts earn?
You know, I kind of chuckle because I think back when we were kids, and the most common things were, like bathing a doll, or just you learned different skills that were so important, and they're still important, but how those have evolved into leadership badges and specific ones that have to do with science and technology, our websites, and we have a lot that are in computer design. So I mean, it's definitely evolved as our girls have evolved, but there are all types of badges and patches that they can earn.
Sounds great. I mean, sounds like you're keeping up with the times.
I know, and we need to, because it goes fast.
Facebook won. I mean,
Exactly.
no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Girls know more than we do sometimes. I said we should bring them and have them teach us a few things.
Yeah, in the last 20 years, the expanse of knowledge has been just tremendous. Where's it going to go 20 years from now?
I know.
We'd come back and do this 20 years from now. It'd be
Think
much
where we'll
different,
be.
and there'd be a lot of different things, and you'd be doing different things. You'd have different badges. You'd be looking forward to doing different things.
Exactly.
World's moving very quickly.
Yeah. I think back when we were in high school and we were learning things like, stenography and the shorthand and the typing. And it's like now the kid doesn't even know what a typewriter actually looks like, because look how much it's evolved just in 20 years.
Yeah. Pretty soon you'll be able to dictate it. You don't even have to
Exactly.
do
It'll be right
anything.
there.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your food programs. You have a bunch of different food programs. Yeah. I know I love the cookie program and love Thin Mints.
Yes. The Thin Mints become everybody's absolute favorite. I don't know why. I guess it's because of the chocolate on it, but I have one every night with a sliver of ice cream on it. That's my dessert of choice. But the Thin Mints are so popular. They actually outsold Oreos last year. So it is a very popular. And when you think about it, we only have about a 10-week selling time. Oreos are year-round, so that tells you how it's really America's favorite cookie. But our cookie program, this year it'll actually kick off on January the 12th. And the cookie program is our largest program that our girls participate in, as far as being able to fund their troops to be able to carry out some of the programs they do during the year, because they receive proceeds that come back to the troops. But the cookie program is such a skill-based program. Our girls are learning, goal setting and decision making and money management, people skills, business ethics. And from that little bitty Daisy that's learning to approach somebody at a cookie booth and say, "Sir, would you like to buy some cookies?" I mean, that's a skill right there. And if he says no, she's learning how to say, "Well, perhaps you'd like to donate them to the USO." I mean, our girls are skilled, but skills all the way up until when they're adults. And entrepreneurs like Mary Engelbright, she comes back and says, "I learned how to be an entrepreneur when I started selling cookies with Girl Scouts, and the Girl Scout program really helped her." So we see adult women that come back and say how much they learned when they were participating in the cookie program, but they were having so much fun they didn't even realize everything that they were learning.
Bonnie, tell me a little bit about the 5 skills that Girl Scouts learn.
Absolutely. The girls are learning all types of leadership skills throughout all the programs, but most specifically when they participate in the fall product program and the cookie program, they learn financial literacy skills. So they're learning goal setting. So the troop will come together and talk about what are going to be our goals this year. How many booths are we going to do? Are we going to go into somebody's workplace? Are we going to go door to door together? What are we going to do together as a troop? And so they're making decisions throughout that program. And then they're also doing decision making. So as they're setting their goals, then they have to decide. And this is where there's a great experience for girls to work with each other. It's not my way or the highway. It's kind of what are we going to do together, and let's make a decision on how we move forward. And then money management, which we all know is such an essential skill, they really are learning to manage money. They're taking orders. They're committing to be able to deliver on those orders. They're collecting the money that comes with the programs. They're making sure that that goes back. And then they're also looking at what they receive as far as proceeds. How are they going to use those funds within their troop? And then the other two skills that they're learning are business ethics and people skills. And business ethics to me is so important for young girls to realize. If I came to your home and I told you I'd come back next Saturday, I'm going to come back next Saturday. So they're learning to carry through what they say they're going to do. And then on the people skills, that's throughout the program. They're learning how to interact with people. So whether it's in their individual sales that they're doing or they're doing it at a booth, they're learning really to work with other people. So if I'm somebody walking up to them at the booth and they're offering to sell me cookies, they're really learning how to dialogue with somebody else and being able to say, if you don't want these cookies for you personally, perhaps you want to donate them to the USO. So they're learning really 5 essential skills, and it goes anywhere from when it's a Daisy, it's a 5-year-old that's at her level, all the way up to our seniors and our ambassadors who are learning to do these skills at a totally another level. Perhaps they're doing some online correspondence or they're sending emails to family and friends. So throughout the gamut of kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade, they're learning those 5 financial literacy skills at a level that applies to them.
When they're learning these skills now, who's mentoring them? The Girl Scout leaders? Or
yeah, we actually have our adult leaders are their troop leader, and most of our troops have an assistant troop leader. And then we also have a troop cookie manager, somebody who really oversees the cookie program. So they have a lot of adult volunteers that they interact with. And many of these girls will look back years down the road and look back and say, wow, I learned a lot from that particular individual.
Yeah. Have you found throughout the years that it's harder to find places to sell cookies? I know some of the big malls and some of the big box stores won't let you sell stuff out in front of them anymore.
We've been really fortunate, even here in North County. I know like Handyman Hardware is one that they always let our girls come out and do booths. So there are those businesses that have always supported Girl Scouts. They continue to support them. We have a lot of the grocery stores that allow us to set up our booths, and that's a good experience for our girls because they're working also with the team there at that store, getting themselves set up and ready to sell. And then there's a different avenue now. Back when girls were younger, it was the door-to-door, and we still have a lot that do door-to-door, but many will also send out emails to their families and friends saying, my name's Susan, and I'm participating in the Girl Scout Cookie Program. Here's what we hope to do for our troop this year. If you consider buying cookies, please email me back. They'll do what we call a cookie promise. They're making that email order, and then the girl still carries through with delivering those cookies, collecting the money, and thanking that individual in person.
Oh, sounds good. Now, what happens if, say, like some girl's going to sell, a troop, they say they're going to sell 1,000 boxes of cookies, and they sell 400. What happens then?
A lot of times that's when they kind of circle back as a troop and say, well, we thought we were going to do 2 booths. Maybe we need to organize 3. And they set up different goals for themselves individually. Some of them might go into their parents' place of business, or they might, send additional emails out. So they come up with strategies on how they're going to fill that gap between what they've currently done and what they've said they're going to do.
Oh, okay, so they try to work through it to get rid of all that. I'm sure you don't have many cookies left over at the end of the year.
No, we don't. This past year we had 0 inventory.
If you look in half of the freezers around St. Louis, you'll probably see Girl Scout cookies in there.
Yeah, and a lot of people use them to make their favorite recipes, so they'll eat them just like they are, but a lot of recipes have stemmed, and actually after our Dessert First event, we actually will have our recipes posted on our website, so people can go out and do some pretty neat things with the Girl Scout cookies.
That's what you ought to do. That's a good fundraising thing. Put a Girl Scout cookbook
together.
Put a Girl Scout cookie cookbook together. That'd be a great thing to do.
Yes.
So when we talk about troop leaders now, let's talk a little bit about the troop leaders. What, what are they predominantly? Business people, school teachers, or just everyday run-of-the-mill?
It's a great question because I get this a lot of times.
Combination.
People think they have to have a young girl in a troop to be a troop leader or to be a volunteer. And we have women who have been volunteering for Girl Scouts for 47, 50 years. I mean, their girls are long graduated from Girl Scout. They're Girl Scout alum, but they continue to support Girl Scouting through their volunteer hours. But also people can participate in any way. They might want to be a troop leader. They might be what we call an episodic volunteer. They want to come in and just help with one of our STEM programming, or perhaps they want to come in and just be able to help with one of our day camps. So our volunteers can really choose in what capacity that they want to volunteer, and then we're here to support them and provide the training and all the support they need to carry out that volunteer role.
How many different types of cookies are you going to have this year? Do you know?
Yeah, there's typically 8 different varieties, and the Thin Mint is always going to be the top seller, always has been, probably always will be, but we're back to our Little Brownie Baker this year. Most people know that there are actually 2 bakers that provide the cookies for Girl Scouts, and this year we have gone back to who was our traditional baker up until 3 years ago, Little Brownie Bakers, and they're our baker again this year. So people are excited because it brings back cookies like the Samoyas, so there'll be some goodies, oldies but goodies that come back.
Okay,
So.
well, you know, they could just so as long as they keep the Thin Mints.
That's all you care.
That's all I care about. What is desserts first?
Dessert First is our annual event that we host every year in February. This year it's February 27th. And it's really what the name says. It's Dessert First. We have area chefs that come in and they bake desserts using the Girl Scout cookies as the foundation of their dessert. So it's an evening at the Ritz-Carlton, and this is where we raise very necessary funds to be able to carry out our programs. So we have sponsors of the event, and the people that attend the event are there to really support Girl Scouting in our programs. During the course of the evening, these desserts that are made are eaten first before we go in for dinner in the program, and our guests get to vote on their favorite cookie or their favorite dessert. And so we have some celebrity guests that come as well and help do the voting. And then during the program, we provide 2 $5,000 scholarships to 2 of our young women, our Girl Scouts, who have either earned or in the process of earning their Gold Award. They can apply for these scholarships. So each year we give 2 $5,000 scholarships during that evening.
Oh, that's great. How long has that been going on?
This is our 3rd year.
3rd year?
Yeah, it's a wonderful event. So it's open to the community.
Yeah, well, next year you should have a graduate of the first program.
Exactly, yes.
good.
Yes.
Good thing. What other money-raising things
We
do you
have our
guys do?
fall product program is the 2nd largest program that we offer for our girls to participate. The timing on that one is perfect. It actually gets started on October the 12th. And so it kicks off really when the troops are just getting started. So it's a great money raiser for them. So it's a program that they can go out and again learn those same financial literacy skills that they learn with the cookie program, but learning it earlier in the year and also kind of jumpstart the year for their troop and the funds that they need. But it's perfect timing for holidays because all the products, it's chocolates, and we actually have a couple of us with us today. This is by far my favorite. It's the dark chocolate. But we have different chocolates and nut products that are available and magazine subscriptions. And the timing's perfect because they actually come in before Thanksgiving so people can get it out to their families and friends.
Oh, sounds interesting. It sounds yummy,
Yes.
especially the dark chocolate. What is there any other fundraising things that you do? I guess you do odds and ends by the troops throughout the year.
Right.
but
Both of the cookie program and the fall product program is what we call a council program. All of our troops can participate. So both of those programs are available. And then during the course of the year, there are other programs that the girls may individually participate in.
Okay, because with that many girls, it takes a lot of money to run those programs, I'm sure. So
Right.
I'm sure you're busy at doing that throughout the year. Let's talk a little bit about you. You from St. Louis?
I am. I'm from the North County area. I grew up in Florissant, actually. I went to Vanderbeck Kindergarten. I say my roots go deep. And I went to St. Sabina Grade School and then Hazelwood Central for high school. My mom still lives here, so it's wonderful. But yes, I would say born and raised, both my husband and I, in North County. So it's been, and then we moved away to the East Coast for a few years, but we've been back now for 20 years. So it's nice to be back.
You weren't away a long
No,
time.
we were away about 4 years and we came back. So
Well, that's good. Well, I knew you when you were in the chamber.
Yes.
And you owned some businesses.
Right. I owned 6 Curves locations at one time, and there are still 3 here in North County that I still own. And my oldest sister and one of my managers, they run all 3 of the Curves. So, and then I joined the Girl Scouts on their board of directors about 3 years ago and just fell in love with the organization. I say for years I was able to help women change their lives through Curves, and now I get an opportunity to help young girls change their lives. So it's a great fit.
That's a good thing.
I'm telling you.
and you trumped me by giving your explanation there. My one question I always ask is, what high school did you go to?
Go to.
You already told me. So Hazelwood
I
Central.
answered that.
You answered that. So hey, you did good there. What are some of the, you got the cookie sales now. What are some of the local things any of the Girl Scouts are doing that you can
Yeah,
discuss?
our local council, one of the big, really a deep root for the Girl Scouts is teaching girls what it means to give back to their community. So one of our annual programs that we do is our April Showers program. And our April Showers program is where our girls go and they collect basic necessities. It's shampoo and different personal care products, personal care items that we collect. And then they get distributed all along our council area, so all along eastern Missouri. But we provide 99% of those personal care items back into the community. Really, like food stamps, they don't pay for those items. So what we find is there was a lack and a need for that. So we are able to fill that void, and Girl Scouts go out, and last year 1.4 million items were provided through this program, through our April Showers.
Oh, that's great. Is there any other local ones?
A lot of them. We have what's called our Seasons of Giving. So a lot of our troops, choose which organizations they're going to give back to and do things into the community. Both of our cookie program and our fall product program, we partner with the USO. And so people have that opportunity, whether it's a candy or a nut or a cookie, if they themselves don't want to buy it for themselves, they can donate it directly to the USO through us. And so that's been a great program. This last year, more than 35,000 boxes of cookies were donated from our community to the USO. So very exciting.
Do they send them overseas then?
They actually have them here so that as our
okay.
military are passing through, that they and their families have them here.
Oh, sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds wonderful. Oh, is there anything else you'd like to say about the Girl Scouts?
You know what?
When on your website, do you have where the locations of the recruitment nights are going to
Yes,
be?
on our website, girlscoutsem.org, people can go there and get general information about Girl Scouts, about all of our events and our programs, and then also where our recruitment nights are. So we appreciate all that North County, Blackjack, all the areas have done to support Girl Scouting for many, many years, and we look forward to continue to work with you.
Sounds great.
So,
well, thank you,
thanks.
Bonnie, for your interview. I very much
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
And we'll have you back again to talk about this next year.
Sounds
How about
great.
that?
Thank you.
Thank you for watching our shows this evening. If you have any questions for me, you can contact me at www.cityofblackjack.com or on the web on the telephone at area code 314-355-0400. Thanks for watching. Good evening.